team ban. Complexities turn to ban. Radiant team ban. Complexities turn to pick. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Faceless Void.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Complexities turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the TI6 Regional Qualifiers. We are here in the American playoffs with Complexity Gaming versus Friendship, Dedication, and Love in a best-of-3 series. Game number 2 now upon us. We are into the draft already. Man, that came quickly. We had no time for a bathroom break. I went to get my water and I came back and it was already started. I was like, what?
I had time. I just didn't have time to leave my seat to do it.
Yeah, you were just you
let
were
it go.
drinking your water, and
Sometimes you don't have enough time to use a respectable bathroom. You gotta pee.
you gotta get a cup,
But
understandably so. We're going to jump into the draft, ladies and gentlemen, well, Complexity, they'll start things off this time with Death Prophet, Earth Spirit. On the other side is Faceless Void Phoenix, but we talked a lot about the supports last game for FDL, and it just felt like they needed to get more done, right, Purge?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched FDL play that much, and I respect a lot of these guys as players. I've seen them play many times before, but their level 6s came way too late, and if you're playing Line Disruptor, that can't happen, because that's a lot of the impact that the heroes have. And not to mention, if you looked at the cores they had a Prophet off lane, they had a PL mid, and they had a safe lane Lifestealer. Those 3 heroes don't individually create space.
Right.
So in that kind of a draft, it's entirely reliant on their supports to create space. So there's a lot of reasons that may have happened. It could have been like their supports don't feel very comfortable making space. Maybe that's not their playstyle. Maybe they rely on a core to usually set those things up and they happen to go with. And if that's the case of how things happening, then you can have a disconnect on your team when your supports are the only 2 that should be the ones getting levels and moving around the map.
What would you consider a space creation type hero in that situation for FDL?
Any kind of mid that isn't a hard farmer, basically. Even something like Death Prophet can work, because you can smoke with your supports, shift to a safe lane or something, get a gank, do a push. There's a lot of heroes that have, roaming potential, but Prophet can't start fights and then have the supports react. The supports have to go somewhere, start a fight, and then the Prophet TPs. But that never happened, and that's what they needed to do. Minimum, the support should have been smoking like crazy early game.
I do like the start for FDL with Faceless Void as well as the Phoenix, but Death Prophet and Earth Spirit, I mean, Complexity, Z-Freak is an Earth Spirit master. Death Prophet, which I think is usually played by Limp, because remember guys, Limp and Chessie do like to switch up playing between mid, who goes where, especially if it's an Evoker for Chessie, but that is not going to be the case in this particular matchup. Death Prophet has a lot of very good matchups. What do you think is a good hero for the mid lane against a Death Prophet in this situation?
I mean, I don't know if that's really the question, because Death Prophet is the part of the reason she's popular is because she is good against so many things in the mid lane. So you kind of want, for her, I feel like you kind of just want to have a playstyle advantage, and right now they're looking okay with that. Phoenix Void is a great opener. They have lots of initiation options. If they have an Invoker player, I'd love to see them pick Invoker mid. It's kind of this is basically a straight up draft of what...
CC is an Invoker player as far as I know.
Then I would love to see an Invoker this game, just because of the fact that this looks basically like an OG draft. You can basically copy exactly what OG did at Manila Major. You say if they did Phoenix support, they did Void offlane, they did whatever other support, and then our mid hero is an Invoker. Just Sunray plus Cold Snap alone should be able to kill Death Prophet. The downside of that is then Earth Spirit plus Death Prophet is scary. There's no hero that's going to be good against that dual roaming style, except for maybe like Quap or something, because she can always blink away. But then you're left with a Quap pick.
So you're just playing scared, and yeah, you're playing like you said with a Quap, and that's for damn sure.
So
and
they basically need to fit their pieces together. That's what's going to beat complexity here, not just a straight up 1v1 matchup. They had that last game, by the way. It was straight up they had the TA counter. It's PL. He outfarmed him, he outlaned him, but they didn't teamwork. That was the issue.
I mean, he had a great mid lane matchup at the beginning of the game. He had very good CS. He was denying really well for CCNC. So the capability is there. I do like Complexity banning out Stan King's Oracle, as we talked about. That was one of the reasons why FDL did beat Complexity in the group stages and stop Complexity going straight through to the TI6 main event. Of course, beating AG as well as DC on the way there. They pick up the Shadow Demon, though, and let's talk about this hero, because I know you're a gigantic fan of Shadow Demon.
Yep.
I do enjoy some SD myself with Disruption, Soul Catcher, even Demonic Purge, and obviously the Poison is very strong as well. So what's the reasoning behind this hero for Complexity, or is it just something they think is good to run in this situation?
Well, I think the most telling thing about this pick is the fact that Venge hasn't been banned. In a lot of cases, people will just pick Venge instead to say, okay, I'm going to get Chronoed, let's swap them out, no problem. But Shadow Demon provides a slightly different version of that. If you can disrupt somebody in Chrono, they're safe, and your support doesn't also put himself out of position and generally die as a result.
You can disrupt the Face's Void as another option.
Yeah, that works too. Generally, you'd probably still want to do your hero, but there would be some cases, most likely. I feel like if you make a Void Illusion in the Chrono, I assume those wouldn't be Chronoed afterwards.
No, I don't think so. They would be able to fight the Void in the Chrono
Probably
Sphere.
not worth it unless he goes like Manta Diffusal.
That's a Mirana mid?
Shadow Demon looks amazing right now. They couldn't have anticipated Mirana being picked by FDL unless it's like a standard pick for them, but the SD pick there looks perfect. It basically counters the Chronosphere, assuming he's in a good position. If he's in a good position, he can counter Lion Initiation and guarantee that his cores get BKB off, or pop Exorcism and then Yules himself, for example, could buy Death Prophet a lot of time. If you combo Shadow Demon with a core that needs to survive a temporary burst, then Shadow Demon becomes amazing, and in some cases even better than Venge, for the purpose, like I said, because he doesn't just kill himself upon the initiation. Offensively, Shadow Demon has more utility sometimes, and other times much less, so it's in a lot of cases everybody just says there's better heroes, but Shadow Demon is being explored a lot more now just because of illusion abuse, which is why FDL has banned Morphling now, because it was that or TB basically that...
and they're both banned now.
Because it does look a little peculiar. The common thought is that SD is not better than Venge for everything I just talked about.
Right.
So I was excited to see this because I'm like, some team finally thinks that SD is better than Venge. I don't necessarily believe that, but I'd like to see him be thought of as good, I guess, because I like the hero.
Well,
so that must mean that FDL's thinking, okay, they've got some other combo that they practice, they're going to have some hard carry that has some illusion attributes, or high stack gain, or it builds that way. Otherwise, they wouldn't be picking SD here.
maybe it's an AM, although probably unlikely.
Troll maybe is my thought.
Okay.
Because the counter's Phoenix Egg in this case. But I don't really think Troll's that amazing. Yeah, Troll's really not that amazing of an illusion.
Well, they picked Troll. Somebody picked Troll. No, it was EG that picked Troll, and that didn't work out for them earlier on.
Yeah, I don't think they need to anyways. It would kind of work, but the attack speed doesn't really do much with DP. They've already got Beastmaster Aura.
I do want to talk about FDL's draft, though, because they have the Mirana Arrow into the Face's Void Chronosphere.
Yep,
you have
really good.
Sunray on top of that. Starstorm will help out, obviously. Lone Druid Bear is pretty good against Mirana, but if you arrow the bear, it's also pretty nice.
Sort of. Their FDL's very magic focused right now. They do have Pure with Phoenix. Phoenix is quite good against Lone Druid.
They need a safe lane. They do need a right-clicking safe lane. I agree with you in that regard.
They definitely need physical damage here because they're way too all in on magic mostly. And once complexity gets a pipe on somebody like Death Prophet, then the game gets really hard for them.
I'm a bit concerned. The Lone Druid has often worked out for complexity, and Beastmaster is again just another great pick for Swindles, as we saw last game. It's devastating for FDL. They couldn't deal with it in the way they wanted to, and so in the 10-6 is that they have in reserve time. FDL are going to have to come out here with a pretty good pick, and we'll see what it's going to be.
Okay.
Oh,
so
that's a safe landing Void.
Okay, so it's offlane Enigma instead, which
yeah.
should counter push the lane a lot.
Oh, Beast has done this before. Beast did this in the game. They beat Complexity.
Okay, they what, safe lane Void?
They safe lane Void. They went Lincoln Sphere, Diffusal Manta or Manta Diffusal, one of the two.
It's a good build game for that because of Beastmaster Roar, and he can put that on other people. I think it's alright. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It all kind of comes down to disruptions the first like 30 minutes, I think, because a lot of what FDL wants to do is kind of countered by disruption there. It's really not the best Enigma game either. They've got to worry about Death Prophet sounds. They've got to worry about Boulder Smash.
Roar through BKB.
Electro. What's the grip skill called?
Entangling Roots. Geomagnetic Grip.
God, that's a complicated word.
Yeah. Just call it Grip. It's easier.
Yeah, Grip. So there's a lot of things that can stop Enigma from black holing this game. So it's a pretty tough game for black hole.
So I mean, it's not even really a BKB game because of the Roar. Is there anything else that goes through BKB that you can... I don't think Entangling Roots is realistic.
Yeah, it's probably not going to hit. So I don't think that's that big of a worry, but on the bright side, they do have Midnight Pulse. Midnight Pulse is really good against Death Prophet and against Lone Druid.
Prediction time.
All right.
Simon First Barracks Destruction with this lineup for Complexity, which is a very good pushing lineup. I would argue 20 to 30. I don't think it's before 20 minutes.
It could be, depending on how fights go. If there's I don't know, if FDL plays like they did last game, they could be a pre-20 minute game, but I have a feeling that they're going to be a little bit more stabilized.
How long will this game be? I'll say 30 to 37.
I am thinking about doing less than 30 because I feel like coL has a lot of their comfort heroes. I'm gonna go with less than 30 here.
Okay.
But I could, if FDL gets their stuff together, I think it may be 30 to 37.
I'm gonna believe in that 30-37 right now. Players with most D wards by 15 minutes. That is a tough one. I am gonna give it to a complexity support, and I will give it to actually.
I'm gonna say Hanskin.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm not 100%. I actually don't know who buys. I feel like Hanskin definitely plays.
Z-Freak does a lot of the wards, but he's playing in Earth Spirit. I think it's kind of divvied up. I can't really remember.
Longest kill streak. Who you got?
I'm
gonna go with Limp. I think.
Limp?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Druid doesn't get that many kills just because it's a bit hard.
You know what? No, do I have time? Damn it! I was gonna change it. I'm mad at myself.
You're matched with me now. We picked like almost all the same.
No, you picked more. You picked more earlier. The longer game was gonna be earlier for you.
Okay.
So let's talk about the game. We did just talk about predictions for a period of time. Good ward placements coming out. That this was a TP Earth Spirit Rolling Boulder, and I believe that the Earth Spirit placed that ward down. So already some good vision.
That's why they sentryed over here, because they probably saw him roll past the mid lane, which meant that they put the sentry over there. They actually didn't grab the ward though. So kind of cool they did that. Though. He basically rolled in a direction that made it look like he was warding in a different place, and then the sentry didn't end up catching it.
MJW has to deal with a sentry. Courier is going to get sniped though on the Dire side. It is going to be, of course, I believe Stan King grabbing it. That's nice. Rolling Boulder was looking for the Courier snipe. Z-Freak instead is going to pull the creep wave, which actually kind of helps if he doesn't lose the aggro, and it looks like it will go off of him. Or not. Z-Freak actually pulls the creep wave away from Limp. Yeah, I think he should get it back in time, and it actually won't be the worst thing, but it's going to give CCNC maybe some... No, it looks like it keeps it just about even. So we'll watch our mid lane. Limp is going to have a pretty good mid lane because, of course, he has more base damage. The attack, I think animation is a little bit better, and CCNC is going to have to... We'll see how he can do in this lane. I'm not sold on the Mirana pick just yet, but we'll watch as things go. Earth Spike onto Z-Freak, they'll go toe-to-toe. Rolling Boulder is going to go in, and Stan King might get blocked up. I don't think Z-Freak can do this on his own, especially with the rotation from the Enigma. They won't be able to find the kill. Z-Freak will back up in a way. He was looking maybe for another initiation with Rolling Boulder, but it's not there. Courier will deliver a salve for CCNC, and so far it's just a little bit of rotations and damage and a little bit of... oh, it's an Iron Talon MJW Enigma, and so they're going to do the same thing Swindles is doing, and
yeah, I think this is fine. I think one very small reason why Enigma isn't played, he did mess up his stack here, although maybe it's kind of hard to do with level 1. Your Eidolons actually do less to neutral creeps than they used to with the whole change with Boars doing more. The regular damage stuff got reduced, so Lone Druid, Enigma Eidolons, those kind of things, their damage reduced by around 12 to 15%. So having an Iron Talon or a Blight Stone can actually really accelerate your
I
jungling.
really am not sure about this mid lane. It's not going well for CC. Well, at least this last minute has not been good. He's missed all of his CS in that last creep wave. He is now down about 4 CS currently. Swindles is having much better time because he started out in the jungle. You only have 5 CS currently for that of the Enigma. This will get Stan King some experience, which is exactly what he was missing out on last game. But in terms of CS, they are not finding the advantage they need, with the exception of Bisa, who is tied with the Swindle Melons, jungling, Beastmaster. And there's that crash again from MJW. He needs to upgrade his computer.
I just realized something I should have said before, but it's
What's
possible the reason the supports were so underleveled in the previous game is because their polls were blocked very often, and considering there was a Riki, he would have very good ability to do that. So
Yeah.
maybe that's why they were so underleveled in the
Definitely a
last game.
possibility.
Definitely something I should have considered. So
The good thing about these pauses is that they're not very long, and MJW, of course, doesn't have to really concern himself too much with getting back into the game too quickly. Complexity seemed to be very nice about it, and as they've already... It's true, they actually have played with MJW. He used to be on the team back toward that... almost towards TI5. Of course, they switched the roster up as they went to TI5, but... Z-Freak is going to make sure he gets away from the squad of both the Phoenix as well as the Faceless Void. Rotating in down towards the middle lane, there is a ward here that will scout out MJW jungling, so even if he try to rotate in, he doesn't really have any damage or sort of stopping power to make sure he can actually do damage to Limp in this mid lane, so he's not the greatest rotating hero until he gets Black Hole. And we're kind of just farming now, and I think this kind of favors Complexity.
yeah, this is a pretty standard way that Complexity plays. Their roaming heroes usually have decent offlane potential. Z-Freak will rotate down there to grab experience, and then they just AFK jungle on Swindles to get him some fast levels. So on the bright side for FDL, they have the Enigma to offset this. Stan King's going to get a ward here, a nice ward here in the safe lane, so it'll offset his sentry a little bit. Good for him. He actually might, who knows, maybe he'll win with 1.
Stan King, it's all on you, my friend.
Yep.
Level 2 line. Oh god, he's on level 2. That's not great. I felt like he would get more experience if he was in the top lane. He's not, though.
Yeah, sometimes doing this, it looks very tempting. You're like, oh man, there's nobody in the lane. I can get free experience. It makes a lot of sense, right? But oftentimes the experience you get and the gold you get is actually not that high. And if you die more than 1 time, it's actually not worth it. So, like, if he was in the safe lane right now, he could be starting to pull because Phoenix is checking rune instead. So I'm not sure that him being up here this whole time has been good.
CC&C will be able to get some CS with Starstorm, but for now he seems woefully underfarmed. And they're going to push up top lane with the Lone Druid Spirit Pair. Hanskin will do some nice work as well. He's got level 2 Shadow Poison, so clearing out creep waves also his speciality.
Yep, and he's got boots and a lot of regen items, so they should be able to take this tower most likely.
I would not be surprised. They don't have Demolish yet on the bear, do they? No.
Yeah, level 3. Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, it's 4. Cool.
They need 4 for that, and that'll come here in 2 levels, but they get the tower nonetheless. It's not like it matters.
They missed the last hit, though. That's a big deal for Justin.
Not efficient.
It's a lot of gold, man. That's like 300 gold that he lost by missing that last hit, so it's got to be disappointing. That delays your Midas by like 2 minutes or something. Like, considering that most people farm like 400 GPM if they're just having an average game at pro level, then, you know, that's a minute of farming basically that they could accelerate by getting that last hit. It's a huge deal.
Limp with a double damage rune, starting to put some pressure without Exorcism on this mid lane. And CC&C still a little bit behind in terms of CS. He's not in the worst position. He finally will get his bottle so he can start spamming out that Starstorm with more regularity. And Z-Freak is going to be shadowing him mid lane with level 3, so he's not too far in terms of experience. Stan King is level 4 now as he's reached that off lane. He was sitting kind of close to that tower. Bisa, level 6, he is going to be picking up a Ring of Health, so it might be the start of a Vanguard build. Meanwhile, Boulder Smash as Franz was roaming in. There's going to be Spirit Siphon. They'll get off the Malphite. I believe it was on the mid lane Death Prophet, but there was no follow-up damage. They were trying to figure out who they wanted to go on, and Z-Freak was going to be the target there for a moment, but they couldn't find any real follow-up damage. So instead of actually getting a kill there, they just zone out a couple of heroes.
Enigma's a little underleveled now. It's 6 minutes and he's still 5. He does have a soul ring finish, but I feel like he should be higher level.
Oh my lord. I saw his health going down. I couldn't click on the hero quick enough. That's really bad. I was concerned about his CS, but...
He didn't even leap. He was low on mana. He must have used a spell or something, and then Limp just chased him down. But that's not a kill that should ever happen without silence on Limp. So CC&C, I'm sure, is feeling a little tilted at this point.
I would be if I were him in this situation. FDL, They desperately need something to go well here. There is an Invis rune for Z-Freak. There is a Hawk scouting Franz's and MGW's rotations. That means that they can go on mid on Stanking. They have 2 heroes here if they want to. And over top lane, they just get free farm for Chessie, who will almost certainly get a Midas here in a moment. And MJW, he does not have his level 6. That black hole is a huge ability to get, but again, the Beastmaster's Roar already is up at the level 7, so Swindles has a already experience advantage, not to mention net worth advantage, about 500 gold up against this Enigma. Everything is really just, it's not coming together for FDL. Although it is only a 1500 net worth disadvantage, it feels like more at this point.
It's pretty significant. They're just not hitting very good efficiency compared to what Complexity is. Now Complexity does have easier heroes to execute here, so that's part of it, but if you're playing Enigma, man, you gotta get those last hits. They gotta
Moonlight
kill
Shadowed TP, they need to get Chessie here, but he's running all. As you can see, they are going to get the air off, but it's only going to be a small stun. There's the air spike, the stun ray on top. He's got Hex as well. Jump through, Starstorm comes in, and Chessie will fall. Big pickup for FDL. It's exactly what they needed for the Mirana. Hanska denies himself. He might have been getting chased down. It looks like, I think he was just probably in a bad spot. No, he was just jungling or something.
Yeah, it looks like he was trying to stack up Shadow Poisons. This looks like it was a mistake considering that there's 3 creeps left.
Bisa needs to leave immediately, and he's already used his time walk. It's level 2. 12 seconds still on the cooldown for this ability. He's got 1,000 gold. Hawk is going to come through. Observer Ward's going to scout at the fact that they're coming in, and Bisa silenced up. He's got Chrono to use defensively. Another silence now. There's the Boulder Smash. He's very tanky. Spirit Lance not, or rather, excuse me, not Spirit Lance. Time Walk not in time. And they rotated everyone down, and they'll start putting pressure on this tier 1 tower and looking for that first big tower advantage of the game for Complexity.
This is that time period in the game where if you're on Radiant, it's kind of scary and dangerous to stand in your jungle, so he needed to notice that coL's heroes were maybe not mid anymore, or that had been missing, and he needs to get out and escape the Radiant safe lane. So
he was the hero that needed to not die the most. It's important for him to be, I think, in a prime position in terms of net worth and farm and experience, and him dying there is probably the worst possible thing that could have happened.
That, or he rotates out of his lane and helps get a kill with just a Chrono Sunray. Like, if he's playing Faceless Void, he's not going to out-farm a Lone Druid once Lone Druid gets Midas and Radiance, and he can do that a lot safer than Void can. So Void has to use his cooldowns and combo with his allies' heroes for them to set up kills.
The start of this game is already looking grim. Net worth has now dropped down to 2,000 and continues to go in favor of Complexity as we progress through the game. I don't think anyone's real shocked that they're winning this game as handily as they are. Maybe if you saw the FDL game earlier in the group stage, which I've mentioned about 3 times so far in this cast, you might say, okay, well, there's a chance for FDL, but this has not looked good so far. Their play has been, I think, missing something, as we've talked about. They will get Stan King a Blink Dagger. He is level 7. His experience is a lot better than what it was last game. They don't have to play up against a Riki. They have a smoke coming through, I believe, on Franz. MJW is missing mana. He'll get Arcanes real quick. He'll be able to mana up. He's got a Soul Ring, which will regen him with 4 per second. They can maybe smoke and look for a kill anywhere. A big team fight would be huge for them right now, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like Complexity are willing to group up. There's the Vanguard. It is going to be Vanguard, perhaps Radiance for Bisa. We'll see how things go in the next couple of minutes, but it is going to be not a smoke used yet for FDL. We'll see if they find something here momentarily.
Not completely sure if Vanguard is the right item here, but either way, like, carry Void is maybe not either, because coL has like 3 counters with between 2 silences, stuns, and a lot of nukes, so I don't know, maybe it can work. If he does survive the burst, then he's going to win his team the fight, so Vanguard can be very good. On paper, it makes a lot of sense for Faceless Void. I just maybe would have liked to see a hybrid item, like hybrid strength, maybe like something like Echo Saber, because then at least you get HP.
Oh, they see Chessie. They need to find an initiation. Blink Dagger is ready to go. He's going to get the Hex off. The Earth Spike will follow up next. There's the Starstorm as well as the Sunray on top. Do they have the damage? He fingered a creep!
Alright, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Nobody saw it. It's okay. You're good to go. But now MGW getting chased down by Z-Freak, rolling Boulder in. They have Boulder Smash ready to go. There's the Malefice. He should be able to TP after it, but he's actually too low in HP. And the Malefice will not save his life. And so even when they get a kill, the trade is not favorable. Time Walk in, looking for a Chrono. He can get it onto 2, get silenced up though, and beats it now. Has to be careful. The Sunray's up, looking to try to turn this around. There's no more Spirits left, and he did take down that tier 1 tower down bottom lane. But again, all 3 heroes now for Complexity are in the mid lane with the 4th rotating in with Z-Freak. Any further aggression here might be punished if you're on the side of FDL.
Yeah, they've got to play really safe now. They still have Chronosphere at least, but they need to get all on the same page. They did kill Lone Druid, that was great for them. And now they need to translate their their Chronosphere into a kill. The only downside to using Chronosphere, though, is that it would trigger coL to instantly go to Roche and take it using Death Prophet and Lone Druid. I would maybe even love to see a Medallion or something like that.
Oh, CC, you're too far up. He has his leap disruption. No, it's Demonic Purge. They'll try to go for the TP disruption.
Oh, great
Hex up onto Hanskin. Stanking trying to TP out. If he dies here, it's still... It's not the worst thing in the world, as Stanking will save his mid laner's life. He needed to do that. That was... CC's too far up there. I don't know what he's doing.
Did Beastmaster just walk up and roar?
He walked up and roared him. I don't understand what CC's thought process was. Time walk forward, Chrono only under the one. Z-Freak is going to go for a boulder smash, misses or actually hits it onto Franz. Spirit Siphon's up, they're looking for a black hole. Limp is now got the Spirit Siphon up. There it is. Do they have the damage coming through the Supernova on top? Limp gets another Spirit Siphon. Beast has got Time Walk, but he's not going to be able to find this kill. They don't have enough damage, especially... Oh, the arrow hits, but he's too far away. Icarus Dive is up. Super. A Sunray gets canceled by Z-Freak. It was so close. Spirit, they get off the Fire Spirits, but it's just not enough. That was a beautiful play from both Z-Freak and then CC and C, but it's not enough. And now they're pushing. They really want the tier 1 tower. The clip is up. There's going to be another silence. CC again is too far up for this time. He will not be saved. He will not get the tower either. Actually, it will be MKW getting it, but wrapping around, it is going to be Chessie. You can see the bear coming through. They are looking to pincer maneuver on this squad of FDL. Limp almost goes down, but there's the roar up in the front, gets entangled as well, and he's done. That was just, again, CC, I don't know what you're doing with your positioning. It's just not right.
You didn't even have leap there. That was not okay to do.
What are you expecting to happen against two silences?
Yeah, FDL's playing real sloppy, man. They used Chronosphere and Black Hole and Sunray Supernova. They didn't get any kill on the mid lane. They were not on the same page there. I mean, the part of the problem was that Phoenix had used Dived as the Sunray started, so he was apparently out of position for the initial Chronosphere, but if he could have potentially used Supernova during the same timer, that's a little bit better. Sometimes you can like dive on top of your opponent and then Supernova, and then you Chronosphere them at least, but they just couldn't get the Death Prophet kill, and they just didn't quite seem perfectly on the same page in that fight.
That is an understatement. They'll try to find Chessie again, I think, with this rotation on. Stanking's got his blink and he's close to Chessie, and this could be huge if he finds the initiation. He knows he's in the tree line here. The Spirit Bear is up. He should know that he's in the tree line. They don't see him right now, but he might walk out. Ward's been dropped down. If Chessie walks out of this tree line, they're going to go on him. Oh, please. Please go on Chessie. It's too late now as Z-Freak is rotated in, and any further aggression will be punished by Complexity's side. Stanking won't be able to find that initiation. They're over towards Roche. Exorcism is up. They even started building an Atos for Limp. And with Beastmaster's Necro 3 also picked up for Swindlemelons, this is the perfect opportunity for them to take Roche. And I don't see FDL stopping this anytime soon. It'll fall not that quickly until they drop the Necro 3 up, but when they do, it might be big. The fight might break out. Boulder Smash avoided by Franz, blinked away from Stanking. Icarus Dive out. Nicely done. They have to cut their losses, and it looks like they'll get away. Bisa almost roared up. Nicely done. Swindles was going to cancel that animation. The time walk came through. They just wanted to get him out of the Roche area, but now coming back in, Arrow's going to hit on the bear. Stanking gets off a nice finger as well. Good defensive disruption. Is it enough? Boulder Smash coming through. Limp's back up to full health as the exorcism is done. They've lost King and they've lost MJW on top and the backside. Limp is now going to go back into the Roshan pit. They've already found Beats further. There's the Necro. There's the Demonic Purge. Beats it with no mana left. Cannot time walk away, and he will fall down for 45 seconds. Hanskin will get the job done this time around with that Demonic Purge, and it is just too much damage. And again,
one D-Ward, he actually won with that?
Wait, really?
Yeah, that one.
Well, we're already 0 for 1,
okay,
my friend.
Well, we lost that one. Great fight by Complexity there. They did everything pretty much perfectly. They did the Roche pressure. FDL didn't seem to know that it was happening, and as they did, they all shifted over. They almost killed Limp, but like you said, the exorcism ended, and that basically won them the fight.
5,000 experience advantage, 4,000 or 5,000 net worth advantage, and unless FDL can find that wombo combo with Chrono or Black Hole together, one of those two, I just don't see FDL coming back from this deficit. It's only 5,000, I know, but Complexity have played better together. Stanking has made some great plays, but again, this time he will fall once more. TPs will come through. I don't know if he'll be able to save his comrade. His beast is going to come in. There's going to be the air spike. Chronosphere hits onto 2. The bear was about to get caught in it. Another TP coming in. Swindles is going to get the roar up in time, and Z-Freak is actually going to stay alive in beast. And now with no mana as the Necro units come out, the Necro Orchard, making sure he drains that mana, and Franz is caught between a rock and a hard place, has to Icarus dive away. Some good split pushing going on for CCNC, but that's just a bad TP from Visa. Again, more misplays, more, I don't know, miscommunication.
He did keep Lion alive, but they weren't able to turn around into a kill, unfortunately.
He's there for 27. They're going to go high ground, and Exorcism is back up right now.
And he's got a Vanguard.
Here it is.
He's kind of a worthless hero at this stage in the game. Cole's going to be able to just...
Nice arrow onto Limp. Sunray's going to come through. Good disruption. Earth Spike not in time, though, from Stan King to find that target. And Limp will have to maybe back himself away. Good Starstorm. There's going to be the user to the Savage Roar, excuse me, just to get out. He's got the Relic up and ready to go. God, I can't even imagine what this Radiance is going to be like. That was awkward. Something showed up on the man. Never mind. No one's going to know what I'm talking about, so I'm not even going to mention it.
Was it Elgato?
It wasn't. It was something on that screen up there on the preview monitor that we have for the multi-stream.
No big deal.
Not a huge deal.
I love the item choice by Shadow Demon here to buy Aether Lens. It's an item that it was first introduced. I saw it as a solution to playing heroes like SD against Chronosphere, against RP. It's basically things that when you come to save your ally, you end up getting caught in the AoE with them, and it's a great solution to that. So you can constantly sit far back now and just cast Disruption safely and not have to worry about getting Black Hole or Chronosphere himself.
Stan King is looking for a target. Moonlight Shadow's going to go. Limp's going to get hexed up. He doesn't have that Aegis. There's the Finger of Death. Earth Spike on top. Sunray, they finally bring down somebody of worth, and they will grab that kill on the Death Prophet. That is much needed, and it's only a start, however, as that kill will net them some much needed gold, but it's not really enough at this point in time. They're still down 7,500 net worth, and they're looking to push into this tier 2 tower. Black Hole is up, Arrow's going to hit onto the bear. They probably didn't want that, and they're going to mana drain up and just Maleficent try to bring him down, but he's pretty speedy. Geomagnetic Rip back from Z-Freak. And Chessie with Radiance, they really can't push into this now. They'll have to back up together, and that's probably the right play.
Yep, so coL is basically at their strongest point right now. Maybe they could wait until they get a cloak or maybe a hood on Lone Druid or maybe a pipe on, maybe equivalent item on Death Prophet as well. He could honestly, yeah, he's going BKB now.
Good smoke from Complexity. Now there's a blink on Swindles too. He probably got that pretty recently. He doesn't have that much gold left unless he wants for the headdress.
4-0 and 3, so I'm really not surprised. He's having a great game.
Swindles again on Beastmaster. He's just had a dominant performance. They haven't done anything to shut him down. CCNC might be the target, although first contact is going to be Stan King. He'll blink away from the rolling boulder. Boulder smashes there. Roar instead is going to find CCNC, and again, he has no mana for leap. He actually gets it with a stick charge. No mana for a TP out, though. He's trying to get into the side, of course, and find an alcove for him to get out of. On the other side, there's going to be disruption. Soul Catcher, Stan King will fall. They do bring down CCNC, and there's going to be the Supernova, which will be dealt with swiftly by Complexity's Chessie and the Spirit Bear. 3 dead all told across the board, and nothing you can do about it for FDL.
Yeah, they're moving to the high ground, and they just got caught by the smoke from Complexity, and there was no way they were going to take that fight, so they did their best to stay alive.
Well, for Complexity,
I just don't see farming a Radiance on Void at this point as the solution. I just don't think that's going to work. Alright, I want him to wait 35 seconds for Rax. Midnight Pulse, do your work. Ooh, the bear almost died.
Yeah, it was a tower hit. It's not going to be enough. 40 HP though.
He's good.
They know where Visa is. He's walked over a ward. They're like, okay, screw the tier 3, screw the Rax. We want Visa. I mean, don't let him get his Radiance. He's up to 2,400 gold.
This is the problem with this build, is that he hasn't been very active. If you go Vanguard, you have to use that HP to fight, and if you can't do that, then you're not gonna accelerate. And he hasn't been getting Chronosphere kills. He's been passively farming about the same speed as the Lone Druid, but the difference is it's Midas and Radiance.
Yeah.
So Lone Druid's way ahead.
Bisa will inevitably get what I imagine to be a Radiance. I would have almost been happier if Bisa went for the build that he did last game against Complexity.
Which is...
It was Lincoln Sphere into... well, maybe not Lincoln's this game, but...
now, he's too far behind.
No, I'm just saying if he went for it to begin with. If he went for... Not necessarily Lincoln's, but if he went for Diffusal into Manta style, I would have been okay with it.
I think he kind of had to go Manta first, especially against Lone Druid. It's the go-to.
I mean, I can't remember what build it was, or what the order the build was in, but...
I would have liked a hybrid damage stat build right now. They are smoking up for a team fight. They can still win this game.
I mean, a big black hole on top of a Sunray and maybe even a Chronosphere afterwards is more than enough. And if they get caught clumped up and grouped together, and that's all really Complexity have to do is avoid getting clumped up. But they already find Hanskin. He's going to get hexed up. They are using... the sound comes out, stops the figure from happening, and now Stan King will get blown up. The Supernova placed in a pretty good position, but Chessie
They're
will come
not
through.
ready,
They
though.
really cannot fight this. Chessie is going to get arrowed up, but I thought that was the
Oh,
entire team
man.
going through, but they were not there altogether. It was actually just 2 supports on the backside.
Yeah.
And now with Exorcism up, Complexity should end up winning this game, as MJW is now going to get caught out. Huge Matter of the Grip plus the Boulder Smash. Now CC will come in. He does have the Aghanim Scepter. It's not nearly enough, and there's that barracks going down. Pizza does hit a 3-man chrono, but there's the disruption beautifully done. But he'll turn his attention towards Limp. I don't think they have the damage. The spirits are already back in, and CC's Spirit Siphon is doing more than enough work. He even gets entangled, will fall. Icarus Dive Boy coming out as Franz will take some damage from the Demonic Purge, but he will be able to survive inside that well. But you know when you're going into the well to just make sure you live, getting pushed into your base from Complexity at 20 minutes into the game, that is not a good sign for any team.
It looked so good for them. If they would have picked off the Shadow Demon, they would have been in a good place, but the Finger of Death was just a moment late, and that's the problem. You have to throw it out at the start. He was being a little bit safe about it, and when you're behind, you can't play like that. You can't play safe. You have to just throw your spells, guarantee kills you can get. Because if they were able to escape afterwards, if they got that kill and they ran to the right, that would allow the rest of FDL to approach from the Rex area and then possibly get a black hole off. And they just weren't ready yet. That they needed Faceless Void, ideally, Shadowblade, walk forward, walk and wait until they're 3-man grouped, and then they go on the Shadow Demon.
Exactly.
And if they do it that way, they win that team fight there and they get back in this game.
It's again just that miscommunication. It really is.
It just seems, personally, I know FDL is all the players are better.
In the way they're playing
better
right now.
The way they're playing, it's just they seem tilted or they seem stressed or worried.
CC especially.
I mean, he's been having a rough game. He played very well in the previous, though.
I don't think the Mirana was the correct choice in my opinion. Maybe it's hindsight's 2020 when you look at the game, I suppose. But
I don't think it comes down to hero picks. It's entirely based on play. They're not putting their skills together to make kills correctly. When you watch the way that OG does it, for example, the amount of different ways that they make kills happen is amazing. They do Sunray with Cold Snap. They do Sunray with Chronosphere. They do lots of other things integrated together. But FDL has not been on that kind of a page. They got more levels than they did in the previous one, but we've never seen a Chronosphere kill all game, to my knowledge.
We shouldn't also take for granted how well Complexity's been playing.
Yeah, they've been playing really well, but I think it's much more a story of FDL underperforming than it is coL playing. This is like coL playing standard coL stuff. Go to their lanes, get their farm, get their advantage, and they're just punishing FDL's mistakes. It's not even coming down to like coL doesn't even have an opportunity to do cool, amazing things this game, with the exception of maybe like when Z-Free killed Enigma top, but I mean, they've done some other good stuff as well, but it's been a very calculated, straightforward play. Pipe's up on Lone Druid, by the way, so it's even harder for them to get kills now.
Even with that pipe up, there's still 1 or 2 good fights left in FDL, and then maybe they can try to even this game up. And by even, I mean in terms of net worth, but there's no way they're going to get Arax back anytime soon. Moonlight Shadow is not caught. I think they did it under an Observer Ward. That has absolutely been scouted out, and so any further chase is going to be pretty much...
Yep, they got to run.
It's not going to happen. Unless Stanky can find that blink, but the Radiance Burn is going to stop it from actually occurring. The smoke's going to come through just to make sure they can actually deal with this Spirit Bear. The X up there, the Sun Rays on top. There's another Geomagnetic Grip from Z-Freak, and Beast is looking for a chrono target, can't find it though, and FDL, they're out of their base. Of course, creeps are entering the bottom lane. They will get off some good damage from the Spirit Bear, but Z-Freak is looking to make sure that he keeps it alive by being the bodyguard. Looking for the Boulder Smash. Sand King will avoid it. TP's back to base. Franz will not be so lucky as he'll take a Savage Roar to the face, then get right-clicked down by the bear, get clawed to death. And they will defend their bottom lane as it gets pushed in. No tier 4 damage done other than a little bit of tick damage onto that bottom tier 4, but nonetheless, it is again another failed exchange for FDL as Complexity will try to wiggle their way into the tier 2 tower mid.
Yep, so they're doing everything they can to push out the lanes, but fight has not quite started yet. And now the Faceless Void revealed his Shadowblade. Shadowblade now becomes a not very good item because his opponents are always going to have sentries down. So
I don't think they don't have a gem though. No, they don't.
But there's a bottom on the enemy team, so they're kind of expecting this in the first place. So maybe it's a bit of a weird item, but
Roar's going to find CCNC and Visa. CCNC is going to go down. Swindle's able to stay alive even through all of that damage. And MJW might be next. Savage Roar, I think, should be there. It is. He's going to get bounced up and entangled for good measure. Earth Spike, they will bring down the bear. They buy back. Limp taking a lot of damage. Chronosphere, the mech comes out. Starstorm is there. Do they have the damage? Supernova with the finger. They'll bring down one. Z-Freak might be next as well. Dashes up. They get up the Malphite as well. Can they body block him in time? There's the Supernova stun coming through, and Z-Freak will fall on top. Sand King, another blink in 1 second. Can he at least find his Spirit Bear? It actually gets shoot behind the fog. Instead, the Savage Roar will come through. The arrow's going to sail, and it'll hit a creep, and Bisa has Time Walk at the ready. Still using, obviously, that Shadow Walk from this Shadow Blade coming through, and Hanskin There is no Chronosphere still. All they need is a Malefice. Blink is up in 5. Hanskin will try to get in the tree line. He jukes them. They don't see him. Oh my lord, what a juke spot from Hanskin. They have no idea where he disappeared to. The Starstorm hits him into the tree line. They know that he's there. Disruption. Soul Catcher comes out. Malefice will come through. He try to force himself away in time. Arrow is going to hit as well. And finally, a trade that favors FDL occurs in this game of Dota 2. It is maybe too little too late, but it is at least something, Kevin, that goes their way.
That was funny he died there. He actually, they didn't see him. It was an accidental catch or something, but he ended up freaking out and being like, they found me, and he tried to get out.
Yeah, he walked out. He was probably fine even after the start. Like, I don't think they noticed the Starstorm hit.
Like it. Yeah, they reacted once he disrupted offensively.
Yes.
So. Either way, yes, that's basically the kind of fight that FDL should be taking most of the game. They got to get Chronospheres off. They have to use Chronosphere to protect the Supernova. And possibly even Black Hole, but they
can kill Swindle. He is 6-1-4. They have Black Hole. Oh, he's backing away. They have no vision here.
The sentry's gone too.
They shouldn't find him. I don't believe.
Morano's going to show in a moment. Yep. We'll see if they get vision.
They did have vision. CC just going to walk up and clear the creep wave. But Swindles might go for this. And they might counter-initiate. He's going to just leap, and the Bears found him, though. Swindle's looking for that roar. The Axis will come through. They can Black Hole, and he's going to find it. CC, the mech's gonna come through. He needs it now and will get it. Swindle's taking damage, but CC is out of damage from his own self, except for the right click, but it's more than enough, actually. Savage Roar comes through out, and MJW is gonna have to get out as well. Still on the other side, Chessie's been found by Stan King. He does have no finger left, but here's Bisa. He's got Chronosphere. They have Franz as well. The rest of the team from Complexity is coming. The Malefice is up. There's the Supernova on top as well. They have that Chronosphere like I've talked about. Limp is there. Good silence on the Bisa. He's got the Fusel. He'll use it though. Chrono hits onto 3. Looking for Limp, but already the Spirit Step. You get the lack of damage from Bisa. Earth Spike isn't there. The Supernova is too late. They will bring it down almost instantly. And with Chrono now down, with Black Hole now down, and with Exorcism, well, it was used. No, it's only up in 2 seconds. It's going to be their time to push into the tier 3 tower mid, it looks like, Purge.
Yeah, the fight looked so good for FDL there. The Black Hole was a little bit late, but I think Enigma was a little unsure if all of coL was there. From our perspective, it looked like a great Black Hole opportunity. Unfortunately, because he hesitated.
Oh, Limp, Shadowblade, sounds comes through. They have the disruption if need be. He's got it in 1 second. It's not going to be there in time, or rather, it will be there in time. They don't even need it. Magnetize, the Bear's getting low. Limp still is taking a lot of damage from that Midnight Pulse, but they will lose Stan King in the process. Exorcism still burning down that tower, but it's not enough. They'll have to back together with Limp and Hanskin going to work. And Swindles will be able to make it away on top of that as well.
Man, they were so close to killing Death Prophet there. The Finger of Death, he almost threw it out, but he got silenced again. A very close little fight there. And FDL is showing some signs of value here. They just have to win some fights, get some kills. They're putting their pieces together a bit better than they were before. And coL is, I'm sure, playing a little overconfident. I think you can see that. So if they keep playing like this, they could lose this game. They've got to be more careful than this.
It's unfortunate for FDL for now, but they're so close in a lot of these engagements, and they're prolonging the game, although one set of racks down. Every little fight looks like it's going worse and worse for Complexity, as you've talked about. Diffusal Blade's up for Bisa, but he's only got 4 charges left. He is going on a mission on his own, and I don't think he's going to find anybody.
Yeah.
Chessie's not the target that he can bring down, especially with the plate mail. Maybe he can kill Hanskin with Chrono. It's down, though.
We'll see.
This isn't gonna work. I don't know what he's doing. He used Time Walk offensively. CC does find Swindle's top lane though, which is huge. I was watching across the map other way on the other side. He needs to get out now. Limp doesn't have detection. Bisa needs to just get away in some way, shape, or form. What are you doing, man?
I mean, he's not going to catch up and farm. I think him looking for kills is a decent option.
Yeah, but he's alone, and he has no damage. Chrono on Hanskin, is it enough? I don't think it is.
Oh, he's got damage. He's got bash. Oh, he shouldn't have time walk.
That was a bad time dilation.
He waits. He cancels.
He's diffused now. His Supernova is going to try to help him survive. Malefice is going to go through, neck and time walk away. Meanwhile, split push top from CC. There's actually just a lot of space being created, although no tower being taken. CC's going to go ahead and TP out with 2,700 gold in the bank.
It was a sloppy play, but I don't think it was a terrible idea to try it. Like, they're forcing Complexity to react to them. Complexity's not just passively farming. They did Chronosphere ultimately for that, but yeah, like, he just needed to get a little lucky on the bashes there. If he got one bash right before Chrono ended, then he might have been able to get the kill. His damage is not terrible. Shadowblade gives you decent attack speed. He's got Diffusal Blade on top of that. Once he gets his next item, like a Manta or something like that, he can definitely start solo killing Shadow Demon. Earth Spirit probably not, but Shadow Demon definitely.
Whew. Well, they'll take the tier 2 tower down, and Well, it is going to be Roche, though, for complexity. And they're like, all right, we're sick of screwing around.
Yeah.
Let's take the game. I understand exactly what they're going for.
They've almost got AC on. Actually, they do have the AC. It's just he's like, there we go. So it's like, well, I'll put the recipe and a plate mail in you, and I'll hold the hyperstone in the chainmail.
They finally figures it out.
Got it together, yeah.
The equation has been completed.
Yeah, I really do like that he went back for the pipe rather than going all damage. It's really most of FDL's damage here. So having the pipe just keeps all of his heroes more and more alive.
I mean, as we've seen, though, again, FDL, they get the right initiation, they get the right fight, and they'll be in a good position, but they're just getting kind of out itemized at this point. You can see.
Yes, they are. But I have faith. Honestly, their roster is not that far behind. Like, they're, what, 12k gold? That's not too much with the heroes they have. Midnight Pulse, it scales based on how many items your opponents get and how many levels they get.
That's true.
Sunray is very, very strong.
Yep.
Supernova, they've
Percentage
got all the right
damage.
kills. They have to land the good kills.
Bisa, can he find a huge chrono here? Limp and Chesty would be good. Limp, Chesty, Z-Freak, he won't find him. Instead, Hanskin's going to get caught first. He'll probably find the Starstorm. They get off the big finger of death, and now they've lost 2. Can they get more? Icarus Dive looking, but it looks like FD will back up, happy with what they've secured, and Swindles would be another great target. He's going into the north. They found him with the Observer Ward. You can see CCNC chasing down Stan King is blinked up in the tree line. Swindles has been caught. Earthspike, they'll find 3. The mana drain coming through, not needed. The arrow is needed to keep him locked down and away. 64 seconds without buyback for Swindle Melons. It's just some throwy ass stuff going on right now, Purge, I feel like.
The thing that they really messed up on is that they gave Aegis to Lone Druid and not the Death Prophet. It's clearly better on Death Prophet here, in my opinion, because the only ways they lose this fight is basically what happened. It's going to be Chronosphere burst damage killing a core hero, which means that, yes, if Exorcism is up and that happens to him, he dies and loses Exorcism, but if it happens like that and he hasn't cast it yet, then he just comes back alive and can take a fight. But because Death Prophet died right at the start, with the Shadow Demon, fight's over. If that's just Shadow Demon and he responds with Aegis, they can actually win a fight there.
Yep, exactly.
So,
instead, it's the Lone Druid left to his own devices for this time. And they do have Black Hole still. And I don't want to make it out like that's the biggest ability in the world in this game because of all of the stuff they have to cancel.
And that's not the only thing they really messed up. It's ridiculous that Cole doesn't have a gem at this point. They're way ahead.
Silenced up, Limp is back alive. Can they bait this? Chronosphere is still down for 30. Good Guardian Greaves, but Franz will go down.
Cole has to have a gem. The fact that they don't have it yet is obscene because they're against a Potom, they're against a Shadowblade Void. They completely lost that fight because they didn't have a gem. If they had a gem, Void can't look for the easiest double 2-man chrono ever. If they had a gem, they could just start the fight and get the kills. But they didn't have it yet, and I just can't believe they don't have it yet. It's not like they even have Invis heroes of their own, so it's like them giving over a gem, yes, they'd lose some map control, but I think the reason they don't have it is because they feel comfortable enough. They're like, oh, we're winning, we can just afford sentries, we don't want to give them the chance to have map control, but I think they'd be better off just buying...
I love this Moonlight Shadow, as you've talked about, no gem. Chesty, Chrono onto 2 again, double Earth Spike, but great disruption. Finger comes through, Roar to counter initiate, they haven't killed Limp yet. Good Starstorm, the Hex is still up, he's gonna pop the BKB, and that might be it. Visa goes down, great try, but they needed to get Hanskin. Visa will have to buy back, MJW gets forced away. There's gonna be the usage of that Rolling Boulder, Boulder Smash to stop MJW from getting further on into the base, and they will take down that tier 3 tower with the help of the Exorcism. And it looks like they will be able to bring down this Rax on top as well. Beast is diffused up once more. Melee Rax in trouble. Time walk forward. Time dilations up. Spirit Siphon. Hex up again. Good disruption. Safe for the time being. There's going to be the Savage Roar coming out. Good Black Hole, but canceled immediately. Sunray doing some work. Shiva's Guard not dead yet. Beast needs 1 or 2 more right clicks. Oh, but he's going to die back. There it is. 80 seconds on the sidelines. FDL cannot get it done in the engagement. Earthspike onto Chesty. It's just... Hanskin saving the day there at 2-man Chronosphere. The 2-man stun is not enough as the disruption comes through. And really, at this point, Death Prophet was too tanky to die from that Finger of Death, although...
It was so close. They should have been able to kill her, but they just didn't do enough damage. It was so close. The bigger thing I thought in that fight was the fact that FDL again was on the wrong page during the fight. They Chronosphered Mirana in there with them.
So they'll back up now, double Shiva's Guard. There's the Starstorm again. Stan King is trying to defend this on his own. Black Hole was already used. There's the Sunray out again. Limp taking a lot of damage. The tower's going to go to work, and meanwhile, they're going to get the Urn charge and do some healing as best as possible. They do get the arrow, excuse me, on the Swindle Mountain. There's the Starstorm coming up. They'll bring him down, but it's still already a set of racks down again in that mid lane. TP's Complexity do back out together, so everything... I mean, it's just FDL were too far behind in these Rax defenses. They just were too far behind.
That's not it. They're just playing bad, honestly. That's like, and I'm not saying that to blame. they're consistently misusing their abilities. If they used all of their abilities correctly and they still lost the fight, that is being too far behind, and that is not the story of that
Okay,
fight
well then what happened in like
they
with the chronosphere?
They chronosphered the Mirana in with the enemies. Like they're
Oh,
clearly on a
I didn't
different
see
page.
that.
He was standing next to the enemies. The Void is like, well, I got a Chronos. You shouldn't be standing here, but I'm gonna chrono it. Like, but you got to be on different.
That's
pages.
all their damage
minimum.
gone, then.
Get him on the outs. I mean, it's not all their damage, but if it delays his double Starstorm minimum by 4 seconds, that's a huge amount of damage output in the course of a team fight.
Yeah.
Like they could Midnight Pulse on top of that, for example. I maybe they did, but I'd have to rewatch the fight. But they need to do super. If they chrono their 2 big cores, if they chrono Death Prophet and Lone Druid or something like that, they drop Midnight Pulse. If they can double Sunray, they do that. They may also want to do Supernova behind it. Those are your options. And then on the back line, Lion can hit up the back line. Go look for Shadow Demon. Stun Hex Shadow Demon with Mirana throwing an arrow in. And
he really wanted to kill the Death Prophet. I understand it because they weren't going to kill him without that finger, but I think you do have to stun Hex the Shadow Demon. For sure.
Yeah, that's the target. Him or Earth Spirit are the 2 people to go for. Earth Spirit's gonna mess up the Sunray, which is a huge amount of damage. And Shadow Demon might save one of the guys in there.
Is this game still winnable?
Yeah, it's still winnable, definitely. It's just really difficult because they're down by 2 racks. Like I feel like FDL definitely could have won this game due to the heroes they had. They had such good combos with Void and Phoenix and etc. It's just they haven't been executing their spells correctly.
Complexity made the right decision to back up. They might have seen the Moonlight Shadow come through. Now there's an Observer Ward. They get up onto the high ground, though, and Complexity will take care of it. They saw Complexity moving out of their base, however, not able to punish it. However, here's the Boots of Travel from Swindles. It looks like he was looking for Aurora, but instead he's just going to clear up these Eidolons, and he does so with the axes. And Swindles now with the Blink bots, Vlads. Actually, let's look at the items for Complexity and see what they have. There's the Atos, now the Octarine being built into for Limp, and on the other side, CC and the rest of the crew are still getting good items. Chessie's items doesn't show because, again, F5 doesn't work for the Bear, but it's an MKB that was newly minted. They have good damage. There's an Aghanims from the Phoenix, which will help him survive, especially if he hits level 3. If you look at the attacks to destroy at level 3, it is 13, although with a Lone Druid, it's pretty good. It's pretty easy to still do that.
I'm not super sold on the Ags on Phoenix. I would maybe like to see an Aether Lens instead. Something like that to increase the range of a Sunray so you can nuke the Bear and the Death Prophet a bit more safe. Ags is mostly to increase the timer here. They're going in.
They're going to try to find Limp again. He gets forced forward. Bronze has already been roared up on the other side. Sand King is going to take some serious damage and go down to the Bear. Bronze will be next. Spirit Siphon Exorcism is up. He is down. And CCNC, Demonic Purged up. Black Hole is going to come in, but it might be a little too late. As Limp already had his BKB on, and there is the GG call. VC gets off a Chronosphere, but it's at the tail end of the fight. And again, it's just the abilities not thrown out at the right time. The smoke broke before they could really find a situation where they were looking to engage correctly, and FDL go down to the losers bracket. Complexity will move on to the next round of these playoffs, and rightfully so. They played well, and of course, when it comes down to it, I think most people will say that Complexity is in fact a better team here.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say watching this game, FDL is not playing on the same page. They need to use their skills correctly. They're getting stressed out. That's what it looks like. I guarantee that if these guys were in a pub, they'd be playing more easygoing. They would understand how their pieces come together.